Hello guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Alex and I'm on Tier Maker, and I'm going to do a NHL players tier list. There are 5 tiers: franchise, elite, great, good and average. Yeah, let's get into the video. Starting off with Alexander Ovechkin. He's probably the best goal scorer of all time. He's the captain of Washington Capitals. He's a franchise player for sure. Yeah. Next one, Alexander Barkov. He's one of the best two-way players in the NHL right now. He's the captain of Florida Panthers. And he's an elite player in the NHL for sure. Anze Kopitar. He's one of the best two-way players in the NHL. And in his prime, he was probably like an elite player. But right now, he's just a great player. He's not as good as he was. Artemi Panarin. He was just great last season, but now he has turned himself into an elite player in the NHL. Austin Matthews. He was an elite player, but now he's a franchise player. He's one of the best goal scorers in the NHL. He belongs up there with Ovechkin and guys like that. Okay, next one. Brad Marchand. He's probably not your favorite player. He's a pest and stuff like that. But he's a really good player in my mind. And he's probably above average and he's an elite player. Okay, Braden Point. He's a young player on a very, very, very good Tampa Bay Lightning team. He's probably not elite, but he's a great player like Kopitar and just a good player. Brock Besser. He's not quite as good, in my opinion, as Kopitar or Point, but he's like the next level and he's a top 6 player. He's really good. Next one, Clayton Keller. He's just like Besser, just a really good top 6 winger. Yeah, Connor McDavid. He's an average player. Nah, he's probably the best player in the NHL. He's a franchise player. His speed is just so good. His skill, he's just the best player in the game. David Pastrnak, he's probably like elite or franchise. For me, he's elite, not quite as those guys. Yeah, but he's still one of the best players in the NHL. Dylan Larkin for me, he's just a really good player, a top 6 player, but he's not quite like Braden Point or Anze Kopitar. Johnny Gaudreau. Last year he was an elite player. This year he was more of like a good player. Then let's just put him in the great category. He's probably elite player, but this year he was just a top 6 winger. Yeah, Elias Pettersson, one of my favorite players. He's a really good young center. He's an elite player. I think he's on the level with those guys. Eric Staal, on his prime, he was an elite player, but now he's just a good top 6 center. Yeah, Evgeny Malkin, he's probably a franchise player or an elite. In my opinion, he's an elite player, not quite a franchise player. Evgeny Kuznetsov, he's a top 6 player, but he's a bit better than like Eric Staal or Dylan Larkin. I think he's more of a great player like Braden Point or Anze Kopitar. Philip Forsberg, probably my favorite player in the NHL right now. I think he's probably just a top 6 player, really, really skilled and stuff, but he can't just be healthy, and he's never played like 82 games in the season. That's why he's just good. Okay, Jack Eichel. For most of the people, he's probably elite, but for me, just because he could carry the Sabres like on his own, he's a franchise player for me. Almost as good as Matthews and McDavid, but just a bit. Like, he's a really, really good player. Jamie Benn. On his prime, he was an elite player. Now he's probably just a top 6 winger like Besser, Forsberg, Keller, Larkin. Yeah. John Tavares. He's probably one of the best players in the NHL. He's an elite player like Malkin and Barkov. Okay, Jonathan Huberdeau. He's playing with Barkov on a really good Florida team, but I think he's still an elite player. One of the best wingers in the NHL. He had a 78-point season. That's just... He's one of the best in the NHL right now. Okay, Jonathan Toews. On his prime, he was almost a franchise player. One of the best two-way centers even right now. But for me, he's now only a great player. Not quite an elite player. Okay, Leon Draisaitl. He's playing with McDavid, but I think he could carry his own line. And for me, he's like a top 3 player in the NHL. He's a franchise player. Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to argue. Logan Couture. In the season, he's probably just good. But in the playoffs, he's elite, sometimes even franchise. Like, he's a god in the playoffs. I think he's a great player. When the playoffs come, you want to have this guy on your team. He's one of the best then. Mark Scheifele. I think he's elite. He's one of the best centers in the NHL right now. He's the Winnipeg Jets, like, the best player in my opinion in the team. He's just a really, really, really good player. No doubt. Okay, Mark Stone. One of the best two-way players in the NHL. Yeah, I think he's elite. The Vegas Golden Knights, yeah, he's just an elite player. Matthew Barzal, he's a young, good player. Not quite elite right now, but I think he's above Eric Stahl or Dylan Larkin. I think he's a great player, like Evgeny Kuznetsov or Braden Point. Okay, Matt Duchene. He's not quite like a superstar, but he's a good top 6 player. That's why I'm putting him in good. Okay. Yeah. Max Domi. Last year he had a really good season, but this year I think he's just the average player. I think guys like Brock Besser, Philip Forsberg, Matt Duchene are better than Max Domi. Mika Zibanejad. In my opinion, he's an elite player. He had a really good season. He had the best goals per game average in the entire NHL. He's as good as Panarin. Maybe they are both the best Rangers right now. They're just so good. Mikko Rantanen, he missed a lot of time this year, but a lot of people going to say He played with Landeskog, McKinnon, that's why he's so good. But I think he's actually that good and he's an elite player. Okay, Mitch Marner. Again, I think he's not quite a franchise player, but he's one of the best wingers in the NHL. He's an elite player. Yeah. Okay, Nathan McKinnon. One of my favorite players in the NHL right now. In my opinion, he's one of the franchise players right now. And he's just so good. He's so fast. He has a great shot and he's just a franchise player. Nick Backstrom. Backstrom in his prime was like elite, even franchise maybe. Right now, for me, he's a great player. He's a really, really good playmaker for Ovechkin. And he was better. Nico Hischier, the 2017 first overall pick. He's just an average player like Max Domi for me, but he could turn out to be a lot better. There's a bright future in the head of him. Nikita Kucherov. He's probably the best player right now on the Tampa Bay Lightning. And he's a franchise player. Last year he dominated the league. And he's just one of the best. Patrick Kane, like Kucherov, he's one of the best players in NHL. He's a franchise player for the Blackhawks. Sean Couturier, he's a really good top 6 two-way center, and a lot of people think he's just a good player, but for me, he's a great player. He's not quite like a Barkov, but he's a really, really good player. Sebastian Aho. For me, he's in the same level as Braden Point. He's not quite elite, but he's really, really close to elite. Next one, Sidney Crosby. He's an average player, just like McDavid. No, he's a franchise player, just like McDavid. Yeah, there's nothing to say about that. Tyler Hall. Last year and 2018, he was one of the best wingers in the NHL. This year, he slowed down, but he's still a great player. Absolutely. Tyler Seguin. He's really, really good. He was elite, and I still think he's elite. He's one of the best players right now. Victor Arvidsson, for me, he's just an average player. He's like he and Philip Forsberg, they're both really, really skilled guys on the Nashville Predators team. And they're not superstars, but they're really good. Vladimir Tarasenko. He's not quite elite, but he's a great player. He was injured, but I don't think he's quite elite. William Nylander. He's not quite as like Tarasenko, but he's a good top 6 player like Brock Besser or Jamie Benn for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Steven Stamkos. He was franchise, but right now, for me, he's an elite player. There's so many elite players in the NHL that's like so cool. Claude Giroux. Claude Giroux, for me, is now a great player. Not quite elite. He was elite, and now he's great. Not quite elite for me. Jakub Voracek was elite like Giroux, but now I think he's just a good top 6 player. He has been a lot better. Patrice Bergeron. He's one of the best, if not the best, two-way player in the NHL, and he is just so good. He's an elite player. There's nothing else to say. Blake Wheeler. He's a really good power forward, but he's not quite elite for me. He's a great player. And the last one, Patrick Laine. He is a really good young player who has a lot of upside, but now he was good last season, but now he had a bounce back year and he's a great player. Yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and yeah, see you at the next video.